Hey everybody, welcome to the 17th installment of an Isaiah Desta conversation. Today we got Devon with us. Devon, introduce yourself.
My name is Devon Strickland. Of course, I'm an FIU athlete, play football, defensive tackle.
That's what's up. So let's get back into what you were talking about. So right before the podcast, you started talking about something. What were you trying to say?
Before this podcast started, I was just trying to talk about that I recently was just doing some research, and of course, it's like a hybrid shark. Of course, down in Australia, there's the Australian black-tip versus the common black-tip. How they end up like making a hybrid species, which is actually just
crazy.
Cool.
Wait, it was natural or humans like?
No, it was I guess it was natural. It was natural. But it was actually just really weird. So I guess they ended up catching one, and they just started doing the story on this. This was like back in 2013, 14, something like that. But I just found that's really cool. Plus, we're starting to find more species that are starting to like intermingle with each other.
That's crazy.
Interbreed, and part of this could be due to climate change. Maybe that's a theory that they have because of
how fast is climate change? 'Cause I haven't been up on the science recently, but like, what are we looking at? Like, let's say Miami. When are we looking at Miami going underwater?
So what I've personally been hearing, what I've been researching was within the next probably 40, 50 years. That's what I've been personally hearing.
That's probably what I heard.
But that's what I've also heard maybe like in the next 100 years or so. Yeah. So I personally don't know because I've been hearing so many other different things.
All I know is I'm not buying a house in Miami, at least super close to the shoreline. That's how I'm coming. Like, I don't know. I don't want to buy a property where it could go underwater.
And then just have it just could be completely wrecked.
Yeah.
But
especially like a family estate. Like something that you want to last for generations.
Oh,
hell yeah! I'm gonna put that shit in Montana, bro. Like
you want that right there because I know that those could be just like really really nice. You have like you put so much work into it, all of a sudden it's just underwater.
Like you make a house because I want to make my own house like eventually.
My grandpa ended up doing that. I remember my grandpa up in Oregon.
Wait, hold on, Josh, want to say something?
The global level of water, like the sea level, is going to rise by 1 foot by 2045, which would put a fifth of Miami underwater.
What? Really?
2045?
Yeah.
How? Like who? Where's that stat from?
The New Yorker.
I don't know about the credibility of the New Yorker.
Oh yeah, I can look for it.
Yeah. I know like statistical, like the Pew, they have good stats, but I don't know if they're up on biostats, like the biosphere and all that. I know they're good with political stats and stuff.
Yeah, I never. I think what it said.
2045? Do you know what year it is?
That's within
it's 2019, bro.
That's in the next 20-some years, which is actually really crazy. But
that's different.
Yeah.
But imagine that when sea level rises, a lot of like these really cool, like the Caribbean islands,
they're
toast, man.
Because they're barely at sea level. Like that's what island is.
They're at sea level, which is, and so a lot of like the residents, because I know because we're visiting Puerto Rico, some like the really really nice castles are probably nothing but probably 100 feet over, like 100 plus feet over.
Bloomberg says 2045 too.
Oh wow!
Oh shit!
Wow!
1 foot. See, that's what people don't think about, right? They're like, oh, but the whole city wouldn't be. After 1 foot of sea level change, you can't drive your car. You can't open doors to buildings.
Exactly. Like that's a whole other. That's a whole other impact.
The city is done.
Because then you're gonna have to try to rebuild or like work around. You have to work on this system.
Put it on stilts? Like, what the fuck? Or you gonna put it like a skyscraper on stilts? What the fuck are you thinking? Like, that's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
Oh, we can cuss on the pod. In case you was just like surprised.
No. But like, of course, like we're probably gonna end up finding some sort of solution, of course. But like
it's gonna be.
I mean, that probably could work.
New Orleans is 3 feet below, isn't it?
I believe so.
Can you look that up?
But I know Florida. What the bad thing about like Florida, especially Southern Florida, is that we're like a bowl. So it's like, that's what
I didn't know that.
That's what I was saying. That we're kind of like a bowl. So
once it gets over the lip, it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah. So it starts. Then like the Everglades is probably gonna start overflowing, and then that starts coming. Then that starts coming in.
And we got alligators in the streets.
That would suck.
Joe, we were talking about this before the podcast. Me and Devon. Did you know that alligators never stop growing?
Yeah, I know.
Bro, that's crazy.
Lobsters too.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I remember hearing something about like that in one of my classes.
They caught like a 4-foot lobster and put it in a tank, and then it got sad, and then it started like
It got sad.
it started dying. So then they chucked it back in the ocean,
shit.
but they put a tracker on it, and it's still moving around. It's better now, but
Yeah. So that's crazy. But yeah, lobsters, like, just that idea that certain animals just don't stop growing. Mm-hmm. And imagine what else that we haven't even discovered yet that's still growing.
Bro, I'm sorry to go back to this, but when you said species intermingling, the first thing that came to my head is like, okay, so we say humans, right? That's one species?
Yes.
Alright, then how come there's 6'6" black people and 5'1" white fat people, short fat white people? And then are those not no? Because think about it: a pit bull and a just give me another dog, greyhound.
Yeah.
Those two mixed. Those are two different species, right?
Breeds. Well,
breeds.
Yeah,
breeds.
Yeah,
same
dogs
species,
for breeds. It's weird.
That's why I'm confused. So why isn't it like a 6'6" person and a 5'1" person not a different breed?
Genetics. Well,
right, no, but you get what I'm saying.
Right? Technically, it is a breed.
A pit bull has a different looking face. It's shorter and it's stronger. And then you have a taller greyhound with super long legs and it's faster. So you get what I'm saying? Are those not different species? Like I'm confused.
I mean, I never heard about them being different.
Okay, because the dog is a species. Okay.
Yeah.
I get what you mean now.
Yeah, so I've even asked that question myself.
It occurred to me.
I remember when I was younger, I remember thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, how is not like a black person or like a black person from like this area, you know, because they're built differently.
Yeah.
But like we also gotta think about it like there's two like different adaptations.
Right.
Because like more towards like the equator. Like let's think about Africa. Like more towards like because it's more towards the equator and it's hotter. Of course, it's gonna be a little bit darker. But like when you go like more towards like to Europe, you're gonna see them lighter. Exactly. So of course, it's probably gonna be like maybe adaptations like over the like a certain period of time, so they can survive in that kind of like that ecosystem and what they're placed in.
Yeah, like, have you seen Eskimos? Like
they're like they look kind of Filipino.
Yeah, but like the thing is that because they're so used to like eating high fat diets and like staying in the cold, their genes are have adapted to become better at storing large amounts of fat.
So they're kind of chubby.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. I was actually learning about something similar to this, but some similar idea to this. I remember learning this in my sociology class was actually just recently was that think of like lactose, like drinking milk. The farther you got from a certain area in Europe, it was like more of like in northern Europe.
Right,
a certain like that's far,
those are the only
farther you
people
keep
who can
going.
handle lactose.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
So it's because their bodies are used to it. Like when you get used to it, you start adapting to it. So then you're able to survive.
Yeah, like my mom is descended from that. She can eat cheese, drink milk all day, no problem. Like she's cool. I do that. I'm in a whole bad situation. Like it's just not looking good for me at all.
Oh no,
not at all. My dad's Ethiopian, so he's not nowhere
so
near
that's
out the window. Like
that's a whole nother problem within itself.
That's crazy. They say the first people were from Ethiopia. Obviously it wasn't called Ethiopia then. Yeah. But like that area. Yes, and they all descended from there. But the science on that is very speculative.
Yeah, it's weird because we were saying like we originally from Africa. Other people saying that of course like what you were just saying, Ethiopia. So of course different sources are gonna say different things.
Yeah.
But sooner or later we're probably most likely to find that out. But
that's crazy.
It's still really weird though.
It is. Because man, like how do people so we have to assume that people started one way, right? Is that the assumption? That all people were at one point black, like everybody was black. And then they went to Europe and got white.
What was that book you read about the 6 different human species that existed?
Sapiens?
Yeah.
By Yuval Noah Harari. That guy is a genius. But we'll set that aside. Yeah, so he was saying that like it was Homo sapiens, Homo deus. No, Homo deus is I'm totally mixing that. Can you look it up? My memory's not good. But
by the way,
yeah, they started in Africa, like Ethiopia, that area, and they were dark skinned because it makes sense. You gotta be dark to handle that climate. And then they moved to Europe and became white. But I don't know.
But yeah, no, I see what you mean. But then, like now since I was actually thinking about it, what I was just doing was like, I was like, wait a minute. Ethiopia. I believe Ethiopia is in Africa. So
Yeah, no, yeah.
I was like, wait, hold on, wait.
I'm dead.
I was like,
your geography is terrible.
Geography is terrible. It's funny because I was just taking the African civilizations class, and like we did like a quiz on the entire map. I was like, I had like a brain fart. I don't know what was going on, but
I couldn't name all the countries in Africa. Not even close.
I kind of forgot. I forgot. Like I remember a lot of them, but not probably like where they are.
Another theory is that they didn't travel to Europe and become white. What they think is that they mixed with the Neanderthals that were there, and the Neanderthals were white and short and stocky, and they mixed with Homo sapiens and created like light skin.
Mixing gene pools.
Yeah.
So when you mix gene pools, you get different results.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Have you ever heard of Darwinism?
Yeah.
That's
my dog.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that he went to I believe it was exactly Galapagos, and there was a certain finch.
Yeah.
And then there was two different populations, one on one island, one on the other.
Yeah, and they were completely different.
They were the same. It was the same species, but some of like their physical features
started
different.
changing.
So one gene pool dominated the other, and of course to better survive. What? Sorry, I'm speaking a little bit too fast. But so they were able to thrive better.
Yeah.
So
that that's one thing I kind of slept through my enviro class in high school, but one thing she talked about was how there would be a road in between a forest. Like they'll make a road in between a forest, and on each side of the forest, for some reason, like let's say it's an animal that can only walk on the floor, they can no longer cross because cars are crossing, so it's dangerous for them. So they stay on separate sides, and very quickly, like over 3 lifetimes, they completely change. Like it's drastic change, just because they're in 2 different areas now. 2 different ecosystems, like they can't cross over and stuff. Yeah. And I just thought that was crazy.
Nah, I mean that's definitely crazy because there's actually I remember learning this back in high school. I took it was also in my biology class. Was that there's like different types of ways that we can manipulate a certain ecosystem to where that an animal's behavior could change, could possibly change because now they have to find different ways to survive. Not just different ways to survive, but different routes that they have to take. So, I mean, a couple of solutions, what they've been trying to do is actually put weird natural bridges. So where it looks like the same ecosystem for them now, like animals can actually cross and then they can, and so they don't have to change what they already know. So it's pretty crazy.
Bro, think about how powerful humans are, like that we can do things like that. It's so weird that we're so much smarter than all of the animals. Like it seems odd because, all right, who's the next smartest animal under us? Like an elephant?
I think it's dolphins.
Dolphins.
I was thinking dolphins because dolphins are actually
intricate language, right?
Yeah, but I was also the reason why I was thinking dolphins is because also like their behavior and like how they communicate and just different ways that they survive. It's really weird. Just like the different tactics that they use, whether if it's communication, whether if it's like hunting or like just trying to like protect each other.
See, now I'm thinking like how naive I am because we don't know a lot about the ocean. Who's to say dolphins don't have a civilization in the ocean?
You're right.
It's kind of a stretch.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like you're trying to say like because I remember I just looked this up with somebody that the ocean and I think it was a study I think 3 years ago where the ocean was still probably only 5% of the ocean has actually been discovered.
Crazy.
So like, if you want, you could try to find like a more recent article that's talking about it. But last time I checked, it was like 5%. It could be a little higher than that, but
5%.
So we don't. So we actually.
I heard 3. I heard 3.
I heard 3 too, but
5%.
5%. Yeah. So. We don't know. We don't know everything. We don't know anything. Exactly. There's like we don't know everything that's going on because we're trying to get in these weird different. Excuse me. I'm sorry. So we're also just trying to get to like these other weird places that are actually just like really cool, but
Nothing.
I remember learning this in my marine science class back in high school that they thought nothing lived at the bottom of the ocean. One, because of pressure, for how dark it was, and there was like no sunshine, no sunlight could reach down there, so photosynthesis could occur, so it couldn't have like a stable ecosystem. But I think it was probably 50 years ago, 1970s. I think I can't remember. But I know it wasn't too long ago, like as far as like time and like studies have been going on, but where they actually put down a submersible and they actually found a whole thriving ecosystem based off of
like super extreme animals, right?
Like these different weird, exactly. Yeah. Anglerfish being.
What are those called? Extremophiles. Check that. It's like animals that can survive in ridiculous conditions. Yeah, so super hot, super cold.
Extremophiles.
Extremophiles, yeah.
Yeah. So it was crazy when they were thinking this, and when they found this out, it was so new to them. So you had
how big is that fish with the light?
Depending on the gender, because some females can actually get pretty big. No, the males are actually pretty small. Yeah, I'm talking about maybe your thumb.
Oh, whoa! I thought they were huge monsters.
Some of them can get pretty big. One could be probably the size of a football. No, I'm talking about light.
No, I thought they were like sharks.
No.
Okay. I was thinking that.
I thought they were
I was thinking that they were actually pretty big.
Yeah.
Well, but
soccer ball or something.
Oh wow!
You see how big the
That's a female though.
But look at that picture next to it. That one. You see the male? That tiny little, that could be there.
That's the dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, whoa.
That tiny little thing
no
up there.
No way. That's so weird.
That's how the male feeds off. The male will feed off the
female.
The female, but he'll also fertilize her eggs.
Fertilize her eggs and all that. So that's how they kind of
And eventually he melts into her and becomes a part of her.
It's so weird.
Whoa. That is one.
Yeah, for sure weird.
And I think
usually between animals there's a small size difference. That, to people who obviously nobody's seeing it, but that was the size of her eyeball.
It's like a soccer ball and then a golf ball attached to that.
Not even a golf ball.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit smaller than a golf ball.
That's crazy.
Ping pong ball.
It was actually really good. I remember visiting in pictures they're actually not that bad, but I remember seeing some of them in real life. I went to Nova Southeastern University, as a little summer thing, and they had jars to preserve them, and these things are a lot scarier and more creepy in real life. Holding them and looking at them, it's like a weird, it's like a totally different vibe. It is. It was so weird looking at them. I'm sitting here looking at why? How do you exist?
I
was getting a weird. Eerie feeling about them because they were just so different. It's so foreign.
Imagine being in the water with them.
Oh my gosh!
Would you be scared? Are they aggressive? Are they?
I mean, they can't see. They can see, but
what's the light for?
Actually, that's the actual catch. That's the catch food.
Oh,
that's
tracks.
It's called the anglerfish. Like an angler, like a fisherman. Right. So would they use it as a lure? I believe frogfish do the same thing. It's like a lure. It's supposed to mimic a small fish. So when they got
another
fish coming in, that's when they're able to. So it's not to see around.
But how do they sense things?
What do you mean?
How do they attack prey if they can't see? Do they smell? Do they what is it that they can do?
Usually the prey will try to bite the little ball and then that's when
okay.
Yeah, so different fish have different ways of sensing too, but I believe they also have they still got the lateral line, so they get able to detect vibrations, and so when they were able to detect something when something's coming. So if they're able to detect that, then I'm pretty sure that they're able to detect their food.
I was watching a movie last night called All Is Lost, and it's about this guy who's out at sea. He, those super big freights with those super big crates that hold a whole bunch of things.
So
what are those called?
What?
Those
talking about the
freight ships, something like that.
Freighters.
Is that what they're called?
freighters.
And one of the things fell, right? It penetrated his boat and it started flooding. So he's super calm throughout the whole movie. There's no words in the movie. It's just him, like...
Just.
It's crazy. Like, it's one of the weirdest performances I've ever seen. It's just him. They're, like, recording him. He's just doing things.
Wow.
No music, just the sound of the things happening.
That's crazy. I don't know how someone...
It was kind of boring.
Yeah. Like, imagine, like, just being out in the sea and your boat just gets hit.
Would you go out and see by yourself?
Like, out to sea by myself? Probably not by myself. Probably with somebody just in case something happens.
Yeah.
But, I mean, depending on how deep an area is, of course I probably do like a little bit of
sea.
So if you're talking about all the way out, if you're talking about, of course not.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a little bit too much, especially just for one person. Cause, let's say like you're out there like snorkeling, it's all you see is straight blue.
That's scary.
Imagine just it's like you lose like your sense of distance.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I remember my first time going scuba diving. Very first time doing an open water dive. And I want to say, when I got in and I looked out, all I saw was blue. That was it.
Did it scare you?
It wasn't scary, but I definitely started feeling a little differently. Not like to the point where I was panicking, but like I needed to like find like a reference. That's why we always use like our computers, like our dock computers as like a reference.
Your what?
Our dock computers. So we have like different.
Y'all got computers and
so it's like so we have a regulator. We have another regulator just in case.
That's oxygen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like that leads to our tanks. So then we have like a second regulator just in case like our buddy runs out of air and we need to share air. And then we also have like our dive computer, which shows our depth, how much air we have left, and how much time we've been down there, and how much time we have left as far as so like nitrogen and stuff like that doesn't get into our bodies and affect us negatively. But that's what we use it. We use it as a reference. Because I remember going down there, it felt weird because I kind of lost how far one thing was. Of course, until I saw like a road down.
Yeah, it's just like an abyss.
Exactly. You look down, it's nothing. There's nothing. Like you look down, when you look down at first, you don't see much.
That's why I'm afraid of space. That's the same reason I'm afraid of space, because it's like, there's nothing.
I'd rather be in space though, because like in the ocean, there's something in there with you. In space, yeah, there could be something out there, but the chances are a lot smaller.
Well, to be in the same area, of course.
I was talking with my friend last night, Dion, and we were talking about whether or not we'd be willing to go to space. And he was, and I was super shocked by that. Because I'm always like apprehensive about it, like I'm super nervous. And we had just watched a movie called Life. I don't know if you guys seen it.
Yes.
That's a must watch. Must watch. The greatest alien movie you're ever going to see.
Alright.
Greatest. That's my opinion. I've never seen a movie that, the actors obviously, great actors. Jake Gyllenhaal. Other people.
No, space is crazy.
But yeah, so let me continue my point. So he was willing to go into space. And I was like, he made me rethink it. Like, it's not really that dangerous. If you get the entry and the return, you're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I said it backwards. If you go up into space and you're fine, you don't crash, and then you enter and you're fine and you don't crash, being in space is not really that dangerous. Unless you bring an alien on board, like in life.
Yeah. And then, I think I remember, isn't it a scary movie? It's like a scary movie with like these,
it's like a thriller.
It's scary as fuck.
I never watched it, but it's like the astronauts, they end up getting like really freaked out or something like that, or like something ends up coming on board or something.
No, they had like a little petri dish like with an actual alien life form, and they were like testing it by electrically shocking it.
Oh.
And they were like, this thing is thinking. And then it starts growing and developing and starts attacking.
Yeah, I think I know what movie you're talking about. I just never watched it. But
bro, you gotta watch. It's like a hand on you just see like the print of it.
Yeah.
That's the cover of the movie, so. Bro, you gotta watch it. Life. It's easy to remember.
I got you. No,
it's
but
so good.
Like as far as like actually like space itself, space is actually pretty interesting in itself too. Oh my gosh, a lot of crazy things happen in space.
Black holes. A lot of I've heard this theory that black holes are just a mess up in our simulation. Like it's a hole, it's a glitch in the simulation. That's not necessarily ridiculous.
No, I know, but like
there's scientists who have like said that's a viable theory. Like that makes sense.
No, but
It kind of makes sense though. Like, think about it. When you're playing, imagine if it's like a higher species than us playing a video game. We do the dumbest shit in video games.
I remember, because I think like just some of the stuff, like not only like I'm not saying like oh it's ridiculous, but like I look at it and sometimes it does make you think though.
Yeah.
Like as far like you have like your regular things that you think about, but then all of a sudden you're maybe just chilling and all of a sudden you're like, huh. You're like you just start you're doing your homework and you stop and just put your pencil down and just start thinking. What if we're in an actual video game?
Yeah, like
it's weird. Like
then we got some fucked up alien kids up there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, just making us do just dumb things over and over again.
Fucking Holocaust, they did that shit. Like think about the violent games we play though.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Like Red Dead, you're going around shooting people in the face.
GTA, you get to do whatever you want.
Bad shit.
Call of Duty.
Why do you think people are so attracted to that kind of thing?
Like video games?
Negativity, just in general, negativity. Like,
no, I want to say like they're attracted to
violent movies.
One because
I know I like it.
Me personally. I like playing violent video games. Yeah. I love playing Call of Duty. It's one of my favorite games. Been playing it ever since like Modern Warfare 2. And that was probably that came out probably 10 years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
probably 10 years ago playing violent video games. But like. What makes me attracted to like those kind of games is not because like the fact that they're violent. It's because like I'm not saying like gives me an objective in life to do. Not because some people take it like too serious. Yeah. Some people take it too serious, take video games too serious, and like they'll start relating like video games to real life. Like there was like a case where this kid, I guess he committed Grand Theft Auto, and then he said something about life, life, something about being a video game, you only got one life, or something like that.
But those are just crazy.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. And then I look at him like you're kind of like putting like a bad image on everyone because like that's how everyone else thinks. Mm-hmm. But like violent video games as a whole, I would just say it gives us more freedom to do like just stupid things. Yeah, I would say like violent acts itself, but just other stupid things like you couldn't do like. You couldn't jump off of a building, even though it sounds bad, but you come back and then you're fine.
Yeah, I agree.
So it just gives us opportunities just to do a little bit more like dumb things. Like when I play GTA, I love doing dumb things.
Yeah,
I love doing stupid things.
Running red lights, running from the cops, 5 stars, actually getting away. Which
and plus there's no real life consequences for doing that. Just like there's no real life consequences for doing that dumb stuff. Yeah. So
yeah, I think those type of outlets like violent movies, video games are just ways for people to do things that are taboo in society. And that like basically because people at some level, most people want to do things like that in real life, but they understand that it's fucked up and that it's not acceptable and there are consequences. Like, so they want that outlet.
But then when they go like into like a video game, they're like, who cares? I'm gonna come back anyways. Yeah. I'm gonna live through it. Or like when someone goes consequences. On like, or like when someone just goes on like just starts like in a car and just starts running a whole bunch of people over. It's funny because like if you were to do that in real life, you're not gonna have tanks trying to like SWAT team. And like, well, you probably would, but like, you're not gonna have like different, like a whole bunch of like weird vehicles coming out and trying to like kill you or something. So it's just some of it's just kind of like it's funny just to see like how ridiculous that you can.
But you see the attraction, right?
Yeah,
of course. Why virtual reality becoming like the main life that people live is actually a threat. Like some people are suggesting that virtual reality is not soon, maybe like 10 years from now because of how fast
technology is.
But virtual reality might be so good that it's more entertaining than real life, and things that happen in our reality seem inconsequential. Like it just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
because the things happening in the virtual reality are so much more interesting.
Yeah, that's why I personally enjoy technology. Like I play my PS4 quite a bit. Love playing with my friends. Doing so my phone, I'm attracted to like talking to other people, Snapchat, and stuff like that. However, it disconnects me from what the world itself has to offer.
Right.
Like, personally, I don't want my children. I don't want my children around having iPhones. Because then they get sucked out of what we had fun as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, where,
one thing I saw an ad during the Super Bowl where it was advertising a Wi-Fi. That wasn't just a Wi-Fi, like it had parental locks and stuff, and you could limit when everything happened. Like, I think that's perfect. Like, we finally understood how to handle this.
Yeah.
Like, technology cannot be taken away.
Yeah, it's always going to be, there because the humans are always trying to learn how to make things better.
That's like if we went back and took away newspaper from people.
Exactly.
Or like books. It's like, what the fuck, bro? What are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
especially now because everyone is used to it. From
exactly.
People that are probably reaching like their 50s and stuff like that, they're starting to get into this. But into like little kids that like their parents are starting to get them iPads to like babysit them. So I believe that would be actually probably a really good way to help control that. Because I know during the days, I want my son playing outside.
Yeah.
I want my son, getting dirty, having fun, like how I used to have fun when I was younger. Right. Enjoying sunlight. Right. Having fun.
That's so underrated. Like, sunlight is so good for you. People have all these type of disabilities. Like, what? Have you been outside? Well, not really. Okay, go outside. Yeah, there's some people that, like, if they were, like, to walk outside, like, their bodies would react differently from, like a normal person. Yeah. But nowadays, it's all about technology. If you're cool if you have the new iPhone. Well, I think it's always cool to have something new. You're right. I think that's always been like. I mean, yeah, you're right. But it's like, at the same how I'm looking at it is when you're giving these kids technology, you're disconnecting from what they could like. Yeah. What actual what we had, not only what we had fun in, but like I'm having trouble. I'm having a brain fart. But we're disconnected from the things that made our lives impactful. Yeah, and it's just I'm not saying like technology and like the development of technology is slowed down, but I believe that people, especially like parents, need to just be careful of what they needs to be regulated, and not by like a government. I'm talking about like parents. Exactly, like their parents shouldn't let like PS4s, Xboxes control their kids. I know my mom, she forced me, like, if it was a nice day like this, she's going to force me outside and be like, you can't come back until, the lights come on. Because she wanted me to go out, be active, being like, be like a stupid little boy, go out, well, not stupid little boy, but like, be a boy. Yeah. Like, go out, be a boy, be a kid, have fun, one day use your imagination. Man, today's not that day, go have fun. Like. Exactly. So, yeah, I want my kids to have like that kind of like, I want them to be able to use their imaginations. So, I mean, since you want to be on the coast, right? Because you love marine, like water. Yeah. That's your thing. Are you interested in like rivers, lakes, or just the ocean? Well, everything has something else to offer. So the ocean, like you have like your coral reefs. Your kelp forests on the west coast of the United States. Every place has something different to offer. But I mean, of course, the reason why I love the ocean because that where it satisfies me the most because you can just see all the different creatures and stuff like that. But you can find some like the weirdest things in the ocean than you can in the rivers, or may have that the opposite, yeah, river monsters, exactly. Like I remember, so that you were just bringing up. There's some stuff that you'll be able to see in rivers that you can't see in the ocean. Weird. So it's weird. Everything has something to offer. I remember when I was little, I forgot where this was, but there was this river, and there was this like folklore legend that there was this huge catfish under the water. Where was this at? I can't remember. Oh. It's killing me. But there was this folklore that there was this huge catfish. And there was like this shadow at the bottom of the river that everybody could see. That's crazy. And it looked just like a catfish. That's crazy. So it's probably a rock. But like, keep in mind, it's so cool. Like, but I know, like, just learning about like different cultures is actually it's kind of cool. That's why I like. Yeah. But like, what interests me, like, the Caribbean culture. That's what I'm like. Excuse me. That's what I'm really interested in because I just love that area. But learning about how different, different natural, like whether if it's a creature, whether if it's like a certain kind of plant or something like that, influences the culture to believe in one thing. Yeah, for real. So it's like really cool. I remember
I remember watching the show River Monsters, and there was a fish called the arapaima.
The what?
The arapaima.
Okay.
Beautiful fish. Beautiful fish.
Look it up real quick. How do you spell that?
It's like ARAPIMA.
Arapaima, yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful fish. But I believe that
Pretty.
it could be beautiful fish.
That's huge.
But also it's how they described it, or how some people actually described it in that area as being like a torpedo. Because it jumps out of the water, and they stun. It's like they stun like their enemies, not their enemies, but they're like their prey.
Their enemies.
I was like,
my political enemies.
I was like stunning.
Imagine getting hit in the face with that. Imagine getting hit in the face with that.
Jeez.
No, so Jeremy Wade, the guy in the picture, he was at a farm, like an arapaima farm, and they were netting and trying to catch one, and one actually hit him right in the chest. And he has an irregular heartbeat now.
Whoa. Strong ass fish.
Yeah, so.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Nah.
Yeah, so, he has. Oh, that thing is also pretty cool.
Really? Terrifying. Holy shit.
But you see how you see how I mean why each ecosystem, like each different body of water, has something else to offer? That's in Africa.
But do you really
that's a fish. I mean,
like
probably fishing. I mean,
imagine getting bitten by that.
Would you eat that?
Well, I think it is edible.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, probably.
Imagine getting bitten by that. Like
no, there was
That's scary as shit.
One of the stories why he went down there was that there was this young girl that was chilling in the water, but she had like a belt full of She had like a belt full of like different charms, like different shiny charms on it. And of course, being like that kind of fish, like that predatory fish, you're thinking, oh, it's a small fish. Oh, it's food.
Yeah.
And actually, it actually ended up biting her. And then I think she ended up actually like bleeding out, and she ended up dying.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So, that's one of the stories that brought him down. But it's so crazy. It's so crazy how different fish just feed and like recognize certain kind of things.
That's a brave man right there.
Yeah. He's done some crazy things. I like watching his show and just some of the stuff that he does, because it's super crazy what like the kind of measures this man goes to get a fish.
Did you see when he walked into that pool of piranhas?
Yes.
What?
That was there was another one where he walked into like it was like a tub full of piranhas, but then like he actually was in the wild. He was in the Amazon, and he was actually just catching red-bellied piranhas one after the other. Just as soon as it hit, boom, boom, boom. He actually jumps in after a while and just starts swimming in the water and just chilling.
Because like he explains that piranhas usually aren't aggressive towards humans. It's like only if the conditions are correct. So like during the drought, like there's no water, so food is scarce. Usually that's when they have their kids, so they're very protective of their young. And it has to be like a very warm, like they have to be aggressive, like it has to be really hot, because that's when they're the most aggressive, which is also when the drought is. So like all those conditions are perfect for them to attack. But the thing about piranhas is that they just bite a chunk of you. They don't bite the whole, like they don't just stay there. They just bite a chunk and run away.
That's why a lot of them come, right?
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as one starts feeding, it turns into like a whole feeding frenzy. I remember there was another segment on that same. It was on that same show, the same episode. Dead duck clops it right in the water. As soon as one started coming, another one, then like
it was like 10, 15 seconds before
it just turned straight to bone.
Yeah.
All of it like inside's gone straight through the feather, through the skin.
You know what that reminds me of, bro? You know who Matt Stoney is?
Probably, I think I heard.
Bro, Matt Stoney is a professional eater. He ate 102 ribs in 50 minutes. That's 16,000 calories.
No, I can enjoy me some ribs, but like,
bro,
after a while, then it's gonna start.
What's the most amount of food you've ever had at once,
bro? Easily at
I looked him up.
At all you can eat buffet, Golden Corral.
I hate Golden Corral, bro. The most disgusting place I've ever.
But like, it's just like food everywhere.
So much.
But no, I mean, I wish sometimes I could be able to.
Matt Stone.
He's skinny as fuck.
He's skinny.
That's the thing about professional
wait,
eaters.
hold on.
They're either really fat or really skinny. There's no in between.
Yo, show the one where he eats the ribs.
That's a huge piece of pizza. I'll definitely. I can go for.
But look,
pizza that big.
Yo, I want to do the pizza challenge where it's like this huge pizza and you can bring 3 people. You have to.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I forgot
It's just like this giant pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're.
1,500 calories in a day.
No, not in a day. In 50 minutes.
That's like.
And he accidentally ate 102 ribs.
It's like.
Make it big. Make it big.
Did extra too.
Yeah, by accident because he counted wrong. Look at that. He's little. He's like my height.
Yeah, he's 5'8" apparently.
Oh, really?
He's 5'8".
Yeah.
He's super skinny.
Yeah, I'm like, how the fuck do you eat? That's the thing about it. I'm like, you either have the greatest metabolism in the world or
both. And he eats really healthy aside from this. Like he works out. Like he sees a doctor often.
Having a fat metabolism,
That's like the opposite.
having a fast metabolism. I'm not gonna say it sucks.
In your case, for football, it does. You're trying to gain weight.
Because you're like for me, I'm constantly eating. Yeah. Like I'll eat one thing in the morning, then an hour or two late, like hour and a half later, I'm gonna go back and grab something to eat. But having like a fast metabolism, you can eat a lot. You'll eat a lot, then within like the next couple of hours, maybe 2.5 hours, you'll be hungry again. Like that's what I remember going through is like just some of those just going through some of those like those growth spurts for me, especially going up because normally I had a fast metabolism. Mm-hmm. Like I'll eat a lot in like the next couple of hours, but then like when I go through like some of those periods, like when I'm like putting on that weight, especially like going through high school, I'll put a whole bunch of food in the oven when I'm chilling at home. Whole bunch of food in the oven, come down, get all that out, knock all of it out. Within like the next hour, I'm doing the same thing. And
scary. All right, look at that. Look at that pile.
My lunch,
Morgan's.
I mean, it looks good, but like
it looks delicious, bro.
He going at it though, like a boss. He ate everything off the bone.
Yeah, no, and he's not eating them bad. Like he eats them early.
He's getting every like bit of meat off of it. I can go for some high quality ribs right now.
No, but like
I'm not a super big fan of ribs.
From what I hear about competitive eaters, like they have like a very small gag reflex.
Yeah, no, you have to because once you start getting sick, like look, I don't know where I would start getting sick. Like I can eat 12 ribs when I'm super hungry and be okay after.
I know I'll be like when like on a good day, like when I'm like hungry, I'll get down.
But look at that, bro. 98. This is his 98th rib. Look how he's eating it. He looks full. Like this is how full I would feel at 20 ribs.
This man just doesn't care. I mean, he of course he cares, but it's like.
Look the way he grabs the plate. This is the funniest thing to me. Look how he picks up the plate to show you. It's so funny.
Okay, so now he's starting. Now he's definitely starting.
Look at that.
Everything is gone.
That is disgusting.
It's not. That makes me so hungry. My mouth is
the grease. Like I saw.
The grease. Yeah, that part is. But like before all that, like before the grease part.
But he has the meat sweats. That disgusts me. When you get yellowish, that's gross. But he's counting them now.
He's counting them out now.
He's like, "Oops, I ate too many."
Imagine. It's funny how how humans think. If it's us, we don't care. Like if it's your own saliva, we don't care. What if somebody else had eaten those? Would you pick them up with your hand like that? Like
no,
with no worries. It'd be kind of gross, right?
I would definitely be thinking about it.
Yeah.
If I didn't know who the person was, because I don't know what they have. But if it's somebody I know, I really don't give a shit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or, but what if it's someone you know who has bad teeth?
Then in that case, I wouldn't.
Exactly.
That's obvious. No.
Exactly.
But yeah, I thought about that too. It's like, when our own body is going through something, and like, to us, it's no problem.
Yeah.
Well, of course, it's because it probably just came from us and we don't mind it.
Yeah.
But
you hear somebody else.
But when it's like when something else is going on with somebody else, you're immediately like, This ain't it.
Yeah.
Even if you're sick, I was sick like 2 weeks ago and I saw somebody sneeze and I just backed away. And I'm like, what am I
have some respect.
And then I'm here like my nose dripping and everything.
I'm like, I can't.
Bro, speaking of nose dripping, bro, I gotta tell you this funny story. So I'm in bio, I'm taking notes. I'm just minding my own business. I'm taking notes, and I just look at my thumb, and it's like a drip from my nose. Came all the way down to my thumb.
What?
Of mucus. I fucking panicked. Cause I have no, like, nothing, so I wipe it fast as shit. I look around to see if anybody saw that, and this girl is staring at me from the corner. She's looking at me like, her mouth open, her eyes. And I'm like, I didn't even notice. Bro, I felt like leaving that class so fast right then. That shit was so embarrassing.
No, like, that stuff is.
Bro, I wish that was recorded.
I would. When stuff like that happens, I just laugh.
Yeah,
I just think it's funny. But when people make those kind of faces, it's so funny. Like their reaction, like when people have like just like different reactions, it's so funny, man.
Bro, I like people who like appreciate humor. Like, cause some people just go throughout their day just being mad at everything.
No.
Some things are funny. Like, relax.
No.
Like, this is my thing. The 21 Savage memes were funny.
Those are hilarious.
They're
I
funny.
remember the one that he's getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
All
the British
This is
guy
my thing.
reported.
This is my thing. His situation, he was being treated unfairly because he applied for citizenship, right? And first of all, he's not from the UK. That's not true. He grew up in Atlanta, like he said. He wasn't lying.
Oh.
He visited the UK
When he was like 12 on a visa.
right? Because he had to go back and reclaim his visa to come back to the US. Then he came back illegally. So it looks like from his record that he came in from UK in 06, 07.
Oh.
So that's why all that like
All that's going on.
Yeah, but he's not worried. He has a good legal team. Like he got handled under control. Even if he does get deported, just get a house in UK. Like UK's
You got quite a bit of money.
it'll be straight.
Yeah, what's the conversion rate though? What's the conversion rate?
It's pretty similar.
Oh, because if it's pretty similar, then you should be good.
So they didn't leave the EU, did they?
They're still working that out.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So they still have the euro, or they have the pound, right?
I think it's pound. I think it's the pound.
Yeah. Check the conversion rate for pound.
I looked into the euro.
Okay.
Well, we'll see. The euro is worth more than the dollar, I think, by a little bit.
1 euro is equal to 1.13 US dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then check for the pound. Bro, your hat is making me die. Icy hot. Wait, turn your head a little bit. I knew the flames would be on that tee. Where do you get stuff like that?
Online.
How many graphic t-shirts do you have?
Literally my entire closet. Not my entire closet. I would say like 75%.
99 souls, but a witch ain't one. Oh my god.
Bro, he has so many graphic tees. It's not even funny. Like
it's like 75% of my wardrobe.
that's crazy. Me and Dros are so different, like fundamentally different. I have like 8 t-shirts, and they're all solid colors. But that's all I wear every day.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
all I wear. Like if you were to see me around campus, is either I'm wearing
Dry fit
or
and cargo shorts.
That's
I've always seen you with that.
It's always dry fits and cargo shorts. I mean, that's always been my swag, man.
Yeah.
That's always how I
With
rock.
the Under Armour. These are Under Armour. Right?
Yeah, these are.
The dollar is
No,
$1 to $1.30 to the pound.
Wait.
So
£1 is $1.30.
Yeah.
Okay, so the pound is worth more than the euro.
Mm-hmm.
So he has less money in the UK. Well, we don't know how much shit costs over there, so we can't even judge really.
Yeah.
But
he still got money.
I think he'll be fine. He'll get it cleared up.
Yeah.
He's famous.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really funny too because when you think of immigration, you don't think of black people. It just throws you off.
Yeah.
Like everybody thinks of like Hispanic people and stuff like that, like Muslim people and stuff like that. But when you see like some black dude from Atlanta, you're like, what the fuck? Like that's such a throw off.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened to Demi Lovato?
Yeah, I didn't like that shit.
Like, why am I doing a lot?
She made a joke about it.
Like she said she was enjoying the memes, and then people were just like,
because it was funny. It was like how 21 Savage pulls up, and it was like an old ship. Like a British ship. How he pulls up to the hood. And she laughed at it. No. That's not what it was. It was the quill.
She literally said,
how 21 writes his verses, and it was a quill. That's funny.
It's funny.
I don't think that's green. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, of course not. That's there is like some sort of level.
But people were like abusing her, like saying, "Oh, you're a crackhead. You're a crackhead. Like, get the fuck out of here."
Oh, because they were trying to.
I didn't like that because it was like, oh, we're laughing because the situation's hilarious. But
you're famous, so you can't laugh.
Literally, that was it. Like, oh, you're famous, you have a problem, you can't laugh. I'm like,
everyone talk. No, I can't. That when people say like, oh, you have a problem, that's something that's like, for me, I look at that as like an invalid argument. Because everyone has their own problems. You have your own problems. I have my own problems. It's something that I can't judge someone else because they got their own problems because I have my own problems. Just because I got my stuff straight for that situation doesn't mean that this person doesn't. I can't judge from that because maybe there's something they got their situation stuff like straightened up for something that I can't do.
Yeah, right. Like, and there's always going to be new problems that arise. You should address topics based on the merit of your argument. Like, that's how things should be solved. Not like these things in politics. I hate this. It's like, are you really going to support Trump? He took a picture with, like, yada yada guy. And it was like, maybe he didn't even know who the fuck that was. Like,
or it was like at that same time.
No, exactly. Regardless of what you think about Trump, that's not how you should construct your argument. Your argument should be based on the things he does and why you don't like those things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not based on, like, his hair or his color of his skin.
No, that's something that, that's a lot of things with everything, especially now. A lot of people just like to throw out things without doing their research.
Yeah, facts.
Now,
that's why I mentioned before the podcast, I want to be an expert in something.
Exactly.
So I can contribute something of value to it.
Exactly. So when you see like these big, why do you think that some of like these big faces, Ben Shapiro being one of them, why he's able to just demolish everyone?
Because he knows what he's saying.
He knows what he's talking about. Unlike the people that actually are coming up and they don't do the research and they're not listening carefully.
He's a lawyer. Like, he knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Literally, it's like in this day and age, people would rather use their emotions than facts.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's always been the case. It's just there wasn't infrastructure to support it. Right. Now, like Twitter algorithms, which is like the main medium of communication between all people across the world right now, is based on like a bubble hypothesis. Like, everything that you see is what you want to see. That's so fucking toxic.
That's who you follow.
Yeah, that's that's the same thing with Instagram.
Yeah,
the same
thing.
The stuff that you liked on you liked on Instagram, that you start seeing a lot more of it.
Yeah,
like I could see how my own Explorer page would just change.
Yeah,
because I'll like one thing
catered to you.
It'll be like I'm going through something and it'll be something completely different. Yeah, and I'll be like, oh, this is pretty cool, and I like it, and I just start seeing more. I'll start seeing more and more of it. Like
same thing with YouTube. More. If you're a Democrat, you're gonna see Democratic ads. If you're a Republican, you see Republican ads, and then both of you think that everybody likes Republicans now or Democrats, like either side, because that's all you see. Yeah. It's like, oh, like I heard people talking behind me. This is like a couple months ago. And they're like, there's no way Trump is getting reelected. Have you seen like all the support that everybody's getting for the Democrats and stuff? And I'm like, bro, you guys don't understand. That's your bubble.
You're not seeing both.
Crazy.
Both.
I see myself. I'm like a moderate, like at this point, because I can't like either side. Like these people are both crazy on each side. Like it's really nasty.
Both. Personally, I honestly should have thought. Just because I wanted some free, personally, because I would have thought just because I wanted some free education.
Yeah.
Was it Bernie Sanders? Yeah, because I need some free education.
Yeah.
I'm broke. I need to survive. I need food. And so why not get some free education? Yeah. But on a serious note, on top of trying to get some free education, and on that topic, I don't know how much I'm spending on like just laundry alone, laundry detergent, food for my own dorm, snacks. So like where I'm studying, I'm getting
afford it. It's $1.25 per cycle.
You're right, but But I run multiple loads because I don't like my stuff bleeding into each other.
I'm with you. I'm not against you. Like, that's a lot.
I know. Because a lot of that will end up piling up at the end of at the end of a semester, and so you're having to pay for housing, tuition, books. What else? You're also paying for other stuff that you don't even sometimes
online
you don't use.
Access to like math courses.
Yeah. And so like you're it's like they're
eye clickers.
Oh, that stuff. Oh, for that stuff for classes and stuff like that.
Shit. Like the
biology class.
Yeah, bro. What the fuck?
It's like I remember we just did this. We just had like an exercise in my English class, my ENC class, where it was like find a problem that you want to do like a proposal essay on. Mm-hmm. And me and my group, we got together and we were just talking about that same exact thing, how colleges milk these kids that are just trying to get used to adulthood, that are just coming fresh out of high school, and you're already trying to milk them out for money.
Crazy.
It's
because they use the excuse. Well, I don't know if it's an excuse. It's a legitimate reason, but it shouldn't be happening. What's happening is that colleges become profitable. It's become like a total bureaucracy. Like there's people at the top who use, like Rosenberg. He's probably been employed at big companies.
He used to be in one of the president's cabinets. I forgot which president.
So what?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and he uses this as leverage to get better positions, and they treat it like a business. It is a business, I understand.
Yeah.
But they treat it that way, like in a way that it's never been before. Like school used to be a school thing, but now it's so large. Like they're adding new facilities on campus, making it better, which I get. Like you want to make this campus really nice.
Yeah, you want to try to.
But it's skyrocketing the cost of everything.
Exactly. There was I remember watching a TED Talk for an essay last semester.
We're good.
I remember watching a TED Talk for an essay.
Yeah.
A TED Talk for an essay. It was talking about how colleges now, back then. One of the presenters' friends was able to go to college and were able to pay it off like that right after you graduated. Right. But now you're having years and years of debt. You're in debt for so many.
Have you taken out loans?
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
I'm not on a scholarship yet, like for football.
Yeah.
But I've already had to take out like a couple of loans and stuff. So, and I feel like once I get my scholarship, I get some money, like a nice amount of money. I'm able to help pay some of that off.
And since you're on the football team, you can't work, right?
Well, since I'm a preferred walk-on, I can because I know a couple of the other kids that are also working. But I think once I get the scholarship, then I can because then I got So, but like. Everything nowadays is just so going out of proportion.
Yeah, I get what you mean. The world has gotten so complex. I think it wasn't anywhere near as complex as it is now. I think that's why you see a lot of kids now getting like depression and anxiety because things are so like I mentioned in my essay before we started the podcast, like no human is smart enough to understand the world, to understand life. All you have to do is function in it, right? But it's becoming increasingly more difficult to function in society because it's so complex. Also, there's this culture of allowing people to be vulnerable, and when you let people feel bad, they feel bad. That's how people work. If you tell somebody it's okay that you have depression because that's like an understanding that it's okay, more people are going to become depressed because it's an allowance. You're allowed to feel this way. I'll tell you this. People in third world countries, like my father, when he lived in Ethiopia, grinding every day, like herding sheep, cattle, I bet he wasn't worried about depression and anxiety.
No, he was worried about trying to get it.
Living. Exactly. So it's like, whoa, it's pouring. Yo, look outside. I'm serious. Look outside.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's pouring. What the hell?
Florida's bipolar.
Gosh, for real. We're talking about mental health. That's poor mental health.
But back to that topic of like it's being complex.
Yeah.
About especially, and I see this quite a bit. It's like it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't matter. You're a human. You get to do it. You get to do what you want now. Mm-hmm. And they start coming up with these different ideas. Now you're trying to make someone like someone's like identity more complex.
Yeah.
For what?
And another, I like that you brought up identity. People are trying to make people fit into identities now. So if you're black, you have to think this way, and if you're Asian and black, you got to think this way. If you're Democrat, you got to think this way. It's like, bro, make your own ideas up. Like, come up with your own synthesis of information. Like,
that's why
fall into these categories.
That's why I've tended to think more towards not for myself, like my personal benefits, but like as far as what influences me and what can affect me later on. Yeah. So I like to look at everything from every angle to build my own idea. Because I don't want to leave out one side. I don't want to just listen to one side, because then you don't understand the other.
Right, yeah. So you're not going to have a full understanding.
Exactly. You don't want to have like a more broad perspective of both sides or every side that's involved. And then
14 sides, 15 sides.
Yeah. So
it's usually like this. It's usually there's two sides to an argument, and then on each side there's people who differ in opinions in certain ways. So like that's basically what Republican, Democrat, and then some Democrats think this way, some Democrats think that way. Some Republicans are alt-right, not most of them, but some are, and then the rest are moderates, and then there's a couple of severe.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
and so I would like to just kind of like, not like, diversify my options. I'm not trying to say like how do you say it, but it's like, I want to diversify my options to build my perspective.
Okay.
Because when one person just thinks one way, then
one thing I would recommend, like if you're a black person or you're a white person, get around people who are from different places than you. Oh yeah, that's one thing I recommend. Like that's why I love
Southern Florida so much. It's diverse. For real. It's diverse. For real. Like I get to be around this culture. I get to be around my own culture. I get to be around people that I can relate with. Yeah. And stuff that I want to learn about, because it's different. It's not just, I don't like seeing the same thing over and over again.
It's crazy. Like if you've ever been to like somewhere up on the East Coast, like high on the East Coast, except for New York, right? Like you go to Boston or Philly, it's white and black people. That's it. Like that's what you see, and it's like they stay separated. It's crazy. It's similar.
It's similar in Oregon. Yeah. It's predominantly a white city. Of course, you got like your African Americans there as well, but like you start seeing more and more of like this white predominance. I'm not sure what I'm saying that.
Division, you mean?
No. What I mean by that is like white people presence. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to sound
occupation.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. I'm not trying to sound.
The white power supremacists are coming to take over the land.
No. But like you start to see more and more like these white people around, especially in the neighborhood that I grew up. Not saying like, oh, it was bad, but it was a predominantly black neighborhood at the time. Mm-hmm. But now, before I moved 4 or 5 years ago, I started seeing a lot more, like most of those people have moved out. So it changes a little. It changes. It just keeps changing. But it was the same. It was like this. I kept seeing the same thing in different areas. So it's like when certain neighborhoods got like modernized, they're starting to get more modern.
Oh, what's that called? Gentrification? Something like that?
I can't think out of the top of my head, but like, my mom said the same thing. It's like, these white people just started coming into this neighborhood, and most of the black people started moving out.
It's like the opposite of what people would think.
Yeah, it is gentrification, by the way.
Gentrification.
When higher class people move into a lower class area to bring it up.
Yeah, and some of those houses. Well, there was, right before I left, there was a house that was taken down, and then immediately rebuilt. So, of course, that neighborhood is starting to change.
Yeah, it's way different.
I remember when I first moved out.
You were one of the people to move out?
No. Me and my mom, we just were looking for something different. Oh. So that's why we moved down here to Florida. But I remember going back 3 years ago, and just parts of that neighborhood just look so different.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like that park, that whole area was similar. But I remember going, like, when I started going more up, like more farther up some of my streets, that just seeing it just looks different. It looks different. New buildings. It just starts looking a lot more modernized.
Mm-hmm. So, I used to have nightmares about shit like that. Like where I would go back to where I was born in Iowa. So I used to have nightmares that I would go back and like all my friends would be acting different. And in the dream, they were riding like these weird bikes and using like some futuristic technology, and everything was like futuristic.
But it's all different.
And I was like, man, like it's a lost time. It's nostalgia, basically. That's basically what it boiled down to. It's crazy, man. It's like
I remember going back to the house that I used to live at, because when I was visiting, I just wanted to go back just to look at some of the old things I used to do when I was younger. And one of the places that I went back to was my old house, and just looking at it from like right now. I mean, even though it still looks the same, but it's like I still got some of those same feelings. Yeah. It was so weird. My elementary school was literally right around the corner. I walked to school every day, but just a lot of like just seeing some like those new small little things. It felt different. It felt different because it didn't feel the same for me personally. So
man, the human mind is so interesting. That's why I'm studying psych, because it's just so interesting to me, like how you can smell nostalgia. That's like one of the craziest things. Like you smell something and then boom, it takes you back to a memory or a place. That's crazy.
You see sight of something that you used to do when you were younger. A perfect example is, I'm not sure if have you ever seen Ratatouille?
Yeah, of course. I love Ratatouille.
So you know how at the end where he tries the dish, the dish Ratatouille, and then he gets that flashback
to like his mom's
when his mom cooking, and then man, it's that same feeling when you immediately like you remember something.
I remember,
and then you start looking back, farther and farther. It's just like, where's that time?
When I lived in Iowa, my dad came to Miami, and we were separated for like 3 years. And when I moved down to Miami to like move in with him, he had this hand soap in his house, and it was just some generic hand soap that smelled a certain way. And I ever since then I hadn't like found that soap, and I've been looking for it, and I found it.
Really?
I found the scent, and it just made me so happy. Like,
because
it's finding the scent.
Because then you remember it's like the good times. Yeah. Like the good times, not like necessarily like with that soap, but like the good times that you have at that period.
Right.
Still that you
exactly. Like the soap ain't all that. Like it smells all right, but
it brought you back to that certain time period where like, whether if it was simply or like you just had fun at that time. Yeah. I know, it's just so crazy. Like when I just see someone.
You know what's a trip though. At the same time, it's like if you actually were back in those times, you'd recognize that there were flaws in it as well. Yeah. We always romanticize the past. I think that's why nobody like. All right, so let's say 20 years from now, people are gonna think LeBron is better than whoever is coming up now at that time, and it's like who knows who's actually better? All we know is that people from the past are gonna be elevated. So Jordan, people think he could do no wrong. Like he was the greatest thing that ever happened to society in life. Like he's the greatest. He's a fucking god or something. Like he didn't miss shots. Like LeBron doesn't have a higher field goal percentage. Are we just gonna ignore that? Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We romanticize the past. Like we pretend that he didn't make mistakes or he never had a bad game and shit like that. Same with the past. Like there's probably days I cried about homework and shit and I was miserable. But I think it was all playing outside and with my friends, and just I would argue that maybe being a kid is a lot better than.
Of course, because like
you could
because like as a kid, and I still like to think about this sometimes. I think this way. I like to think simple.
Yeah. Because
then when I overcomplicate myself,
that's so true.
When I overcomplicate myself, I start going crazy. It's like I start getting crazy and I go haywire. Like, oh, now I have to do this, that, the third, and then I gotta go to this place.
And then you do nothing well.
And then you're just freaking yourself out to the point to where like as like a college student where you probably just want to drop out at that point because you're so overwhelmed with everything.
That's so true.
So like just sometimes just sitting back and like just simplifying yourself, like simplifying your mind, the way you think sometimes, or just like that, just to calm down. It just makes everything a little easier.
It does. That's it? Damn, Joe's is telling us we got to end the podcast. So this has been the 17th installment of an Isaiah That's the Conversation. If you enjoyed, please leave a 5-star rating and a review. Devon, any shout outs you want to get out?
No. Shout out to my mom. That's probably about it. Shout out to the Lord, of course, because I wouldn't be here in my position without him. So, just enjoy y'all day. So.
All right. I'll let y'all. See you next time.